Probably not. Okay. Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Today is Tuesday, August 26, 2025. Time now is 4:35 p.m. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any correspondence? Okay. First up, we have approval of minutes. I move that we approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes from August 19th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Sorry about that. Okay, old business. We had tabled this. It's consideration and approval of charter revision questions for the November 2025 ballot, municipal election ballot. So what we have before us, we have 8 questions that reflect all the charter revision changes that were approved by the Board of Selectmen. And what I'll do is I'll read through each one, and then we can talk it over. The first one is regarding a 4-year term for the Board of Selectmen, 2027. And it is shall section 3-4A of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended or provisions added to provide for a 3-member Board of Selectmen consisting of a first selectman and 2 selectmen with elected terms of 4 years each, beginning with the municipal election in 2027, as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. So as a question, the only thing that changes from the charter is it makes a 2 to a 4-year term. As we agreed. Any questions on that? Okay.
No.
So, Melanie, we can do all the ballot questions at the end, right? Or do we need to approve each one?
I guess that way, then if there was a disapproval as to one, you wouldn't, you can do either way. Or as long as there's consensus, you could do it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be okay.
I don't have a
It's not
problem
that
with
you
it.
can't.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Go to the second question, regarding referendum limits for capital utilities projects. Shall section C6-8 of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended or provisions added to require any proposed capital expenditure of $1 million or more, except capital utility projects that are funded exclusively through user fees, grants, and or loans, to be submitted to the persons qualified to vote thereon for a vote by voting machine, and capital utility projects as described herein that have proposed capital expenditures of $2 million or more shall be submitted to the persons qualified to vote thereon for a vote by voting machine as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. So as you recall, that's just where we basically said for, under $1 million, we would, or I say up to $2 million, if it's a capital project that's funded exclusively through grants, specifically public utilities like our water sewer. We shouldn't necessarily have to go back to the voter for something like that. So it just raised it for that only. And that's the only thing we're considering. So next up, a bill eligibility for office. I should say, by the way, we took these in. I took these, but with Nick and grouped them where we thought would make sense. Because otherwise we'd have, 50 questions on the ballot. Eligibility for office vacancies, resignations, and removals. Shall section C2-5B, C3-3A, C7-1C, C7-2B, and C7-5A and B of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended or provisions added to require that no employee of the town may serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission except as authorized as ex officio non-voting members, as per Connecticut general statutes. Require the members of the Board of Finance not concurrently serve on an elected, appointed municipal board or commission during their time in office, to provide for a process for the Board of Selectmen or boards and commissions to fill vacancies after 60 days, to provide a process for members of the appointed boards to resign cease to be a member when they are no longer a resident elector, and removal by the Board of Selectmen for cause as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. A lot to that. Okay. Okay, word usage. Now, these were the two we actually did separately, word usage and punctuation. You know, some people may feel that there's a political reason for changing to they, them, or their. One of the things, though, it actually did flow better than him and her. And we got to remember that we use they, them, their, we're using it to refer to anybody in that position over time. So it's, you know, the first selectman, they may, meaning it could be me, it could be somebody 10, 20 years from now. So we did separate it out just in case, because we didn't, if somebody got upset about that, we didn't want it to get rid of our punctuation changes. So for the record, we put that out. So word usage, shall section C2-5A, C3-2, C3-3A, C4-1B, C5-3, C5-4B1 and 2, C8-1C, C8-7, C8-9, C8-11B, C8-13C3, and C9-3 of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended to use they, them, their when referring to a board, commission, or person as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. Next up, punctuation changes. Again, a lot of dashes here, so we're going to run through it. Shall section C2-5B, C3-3C, excuse me?
C2-5A.
Okay, so we didn't make sure here. So let's take a look at that.
No, it was A, but you said B.
No, it's
When you read it.
it's B on here.
Oh,
So let's
I'm sorry,
just
you want
double
word-
check real
I'm
quick.
sorry, you want word usage or punctuation?
Okay, we're on punctuation technical changes.
Then that's my fault.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm in the wrong place.
Don't worry. This is why we do this. So this is, and this is why we read it, I think, too, because like it could get kind of weird. Okay. Shall section C2-5B, C3-3C, C3-12, C4-7E, C6-2, C6-3A, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, C6-3B, 1 and 3, C6-3, C6-3, C1, C7-1A, B, and C, C7-2B, C7-3, C7-7, and C7-7A, C8-2A, C8-6, C9-4B, C10-2F, C10-9, and C11-1 of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended to make punctuation corrections and minor technical changes as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. Okay. Now, 3 more, almost done. Okay, so this one is basically all the annual town meeting changes and additions. Annual town meeting, budget referendum, legal notice, and purchasing cooperatives. Shall section C4-4B and D, C4-5A, C6-1C, C6-2, C6-3A, 1 and B1, C6-5B and E, C8-1, C8-13, C, 4I, and 4II, C10-2E, F, and G, and C10-4A of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended or provisions added to change the references to the annual town budget meeting to the annual town meeting and allow transaction of business in the addition to the budget. Require the annual town meeting to be held on one of the first 14 days of April at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen. Provide that the town clerk shall automatically serve as secretary at town meetings and recommend a replacement. Require the Board of Finance to hold 1 or more public hearings on the general town budget report not less than 7 days or more than 14 days before the annual town meeting. Require the Board of Selectmen to set budget and special referendum machine votes, not less than 10 or more than 15 days, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, and set the times of referendum from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. That is a problem. That should be PM. Good catch. PM. Woo-hoo. Require notices of hearings and other required legal advertisements in the charter to appear in a newspaper having a general circulation in the town or other medium consistent with the requirements of the Connecticut General Statutes. Authorize the town of Bethel, the procurement committee, and or the Board of Education to use a purchasing cooperative in lieu of a bidding process in order to lower costs, so long as such use of purchasing cooperative complies with provisions of this charter and the laws of the state of Connecticut as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. Okay. Next up, new and or clarifying officers and departments. Shall section 8C-1A, 8C8-3A and B, 8C8-4A and B, C8-5A and B, C-6B, C8-9, C8-13, C8-13A, C8-13B 1 and 2, C8-13C 1 and 3, C8-13C4 double I, C8-13D, E, F, and G, C8-14, C8-15, and C8-16 of the Charter of the Bethel, among other items, be amended or provisions added to provide for the following administrative officers and departments: Finance Director, Tax Collector, Assessor, Emergency Management Director, Director of Health, Fire Marshal, Building Official, Planning and Zoning Official, Town Council, Town Engineer, and Economic Development Director, the Department of Public Works, Police Department, Department of Public Utilities, Department of Economic Development, and Information Technology Department. Provide for the process or removal of a tax collector, emergency management director, or town sanitarian by the Board of Selectmen for good cause, and provide for a process for removal of a tax assessor by the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen for a good cause, as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. And final one, boards and commissions. Shall section C3-6, C7-11A, C7-15A, C9-1D and E, and C11-11 of the Charter of Bethel, among other items, be amended or provisions added to provide for a Public Utilities Commission consisting of 7 members, 3 of which shall be from the Board of Selectmen, including the first Selectman. Require that the Board of Education, Insurance, Pension Commission members serve overlapping terms. Provide for an opportunity for the public to speak at the start of all regular meetings of all elected and appointed boards, commissions, and committees, except for those regular meetings where public hearings appear on the meeting agenda. Adopt Robert's Rules of Order as the official rules procedure for elected and appointed boards. Require all regularly scheduled and or special meetings of elected and appointed boards and commissions to take place at the Clifford J. Purgeon Municipal Center or a town-owned facility accessible to the members of the public, with exceptions for site inspections as set forth in the proposed charter amendments finalized by the Board of Selectmen on August 5th, 2025, and filed in the office of the Bethel Town Clerk. So those are what I think we only found one issue, right? That was on the PM.
Yeah.
So we'll make that adjustment on the print copy.
There's a capital S for Board of Selectmen. There's just
So a capital S
very
somewhere.
minor, under eligibility for office vacancies, resignations, and removals.
Okay.
Technician, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8th line. So 2 up from the bottom. This is Board of Selectmen.
Oh, wow.
Small
There you go.
S.
That's capital that. Okay. All right. I think we got it. So those are, so basically those are the ballot questions. Any other discussion?
I just have a question.
Shoot, yeah,
You know, you specify that if the charter passes the four-year board of selectmen thing, it starts in 2027.
yes, sir.
All the others are after the vote.
Yes.
Do we need to specify that by any chance?
I don't believe so. They didn't do that in the last one,
No.
14. Vote.
It takes place something like 30 or 60 days after, because there's
Yeah,
a process to get it, what's the word?
The appeal
You know,
period or something?
No, there won't be an appeal period. There's after the vote, then they have to probably assemble it all and get it published, and it gets submitted to the state, and it gets, it'll be filed with the town clerk. So there's a period of time. It's not effective immediately. There's like a 60-day or something. It's not
waiting
immediate,
period, yeah.
but I know what you're saying. It's not going to be 2 years either. It's going
Yeah,
to be,
well, that's,
it's
yeah.
going to be whenever the charter amendment, whatever the statute says about when it's effective.
one thing we'll have to make
Right.
sure is when we, the one we sent over the News Times, we should make double sure in that paragraph, it does say 2027
For the board of selectmen.
in the Board of Selectmen, the 4-year term.
Oh,
We do make sure it says it in the charter that starting in 2027.
okay. I know it doesn't say that.
It does, yeah, it just hit me because this is
Yeah.
very common in other places in the charter where they'll say something becomes effective like 2009. And then in a
Yeah.
subsequent charter revision, we'll go and we'll remove that sentence. In fact, in the technical changes, we have removed a couple of things like that, where it just says in 2009, blah, 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 blah.
My only question is, and
Yeah.
maybe that's a legal question for Mel, about should we have a note somewhere that all these others would take effect in 60 days or something like that?
I don't know. I'm still looking up.
I don't
didn't
know.
see 2027 in Nick's changes, but we can
Yeah.
do that.
I don't know that we can, or that we say that. I think we have to.
I'm
unless
looking
we
for
did
the
it on both of them.
statute to tell you
Yeah.
when. it
There's a-
actually-
It's
There's a
just like,
process.
like where
Yeah.
the public utilities where we're adding two more
Yeah.
members. So, we can't add them until
Right, until,
all the legal stuff is.
But that is all,
presented.
that's all spelled out in state law.
yeah,
Like, there's a period where it has to sit before
Okay,
we're allowed to move. Yeah, I'm looking back on this one, we didn't do it for any of them in 14. By the way, they didn't even do it for this one. Although I remember reading somewhere it was supposed to take effect later. They didn't put it on the ballot.
Oh.
I think if there's any special time
Yeah.
periods, if you're saying
Okay.
we can add that and it was not in there, but we could do that. So that.
Yeah.
There's no question.
So when we get the proof back from the
Yeah, we'll have to.
News
look at
Times,
that.
we're gonna have to make that. I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah, well, it's,
That's a
But
good question, because
I'm looking for the
this,
statute, but I know that it's just a little bit of time just to get all that.
sure.
because
We'll give everyone-
yeah, other than statutes, maybe statutes supersedes it, but otherwise someone would say,
Yeah.
oh, well, we didn't specify when it was gonna happen. and
Sure,
You gotta
sure,
wait
yeah.
the 2 years because the selectmen's gotta wait 2 years.
Oh, yeah, might confuse somebody.
I'm just throwing it out there. That's
Well,
all.
because if something happens, there was a special election between now and 2027, question might be, is this person running for a 2-year term or 4-year term?
Wow, yeah, but technically,
Technically, they probably be completing the term.
They
of the
have to,
person that they
yeah.
were.
If I get hit by a bus, they have to do a special election. It's only.
I made a purpose of that, Dan, is
Yeah.
just so that it's certainly for charter purposes, is that when people are voting that day, they're not thinking, maybe,
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'm
you
making
also-
that decision right now for a
Yeah.
4-year term, as opposed to I'll have an opportunity, in 2 years when I know who's
Right.
going to be on the ballot to make that decision. But because I think that's why I said question in the
Sure.
ballot question itself. So Rich, I'm sorry, I know I read that statute.
No,
and I
it's just,
can't-
if we can just mention that, the council will look into it in case there's to be a word added.
Okay. I think that's,
And I'm fine with that.
okay. So with that then, I'll make a motion that we approve the charter revision questions for the November 2025 municipal election ballot as stated, with the caveat that the town attorney may choose to add information reflecting the date of when this become effective.
And
Any
second,
minor edits that we make.
And minor edits. Okay. Outstanding. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. All right. Well, I think that's all we have. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we stand adjourned at 4:55 PM. Thank you, everybody. Really.
Yes.